All right, so little disclaimer if you watched the live stream, I had a couple of issues go on with my webcam. You guys know that I use my phone as my webcam during these live streams and podcast recording. Whenever I'm recording, I use my phone. Yeah, for some reason, it was bad connection. The app kept stopping, and that's why you see me always pausing and trying to get back on track. But yeah, so without further ado, I hope you guys enjoyed nonetheless. So, all right, guys, welcome back to another live stream and to another podcast episode combined in one today. We're here joined with Sharkfin Tech. What's up, man? How are you?
Good. How are you? How's everyone?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. So, we have a couple things to talk about. I think
Yes, we do.
some are down your alley, some are down mine. Um, let's start off with what the newest stuff, the Google event. Um, tell us your thoughts, man. Did you watch the event?
I did. Um, Probably 95% of it or so. And
Hmm.
on balance, I thought it was excellent. I have to say, I don't want to sound like we'll make this clear from the beginning for both of us. 'Cause I know you have a Pixel. I used to have one. I'm on Samsung, but I'm an Android guy. I do love Pixel and respect it. And so not sound like we're shilling or fanboy sheep nights, whatever. But they
Right.
did a great job, and they really delivered the goods. I think, which we'll get into. What did you want to?
Yeah,
Your time.
yeah, definitely. I do want to touch on that Pixel that you just mentioned. I no longer have that Pixel.
Okay,
I
fair
passed
enough.
I passed it down to my nephew, who
Ah,
wanted a better phone because he got one of those cheap Androids that Cricket gives you.
right.
And he plays a lot of games and stuff on his phone. So he's like, "Yeah, this is no longer working. I have no space on my phone." He's into not. Uh-oh, what's going on?
You froze a little, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why the app just
There
closed
you
on
are.
me. Cool.
But let me get this
um,
straight. If I understand this correctly, you're telling
yeah.
me a 5-year old Pixel was better than whatever he had. That speaks volumes right there, right? For Pixel, I guess.
Yes. Yes. And when it comes to Android, I've been saying this to all my friends. Pixel's the way to go. People don't believe me. People say that that Samsung is the good. I'm not saying it's not good. I'm just saying that for me as a person and as a user, I would rather have um, Pixel's software and hardware over Samsung. That's all I say.
Well,
But
that's
people that
interesting.
go
Yeah,
go at me. You should see my last video, uh,
I
the Samsung video that I made. I don't know if you saw that. The
I didn't.
comments are
I'll watch it.
still the comments are still going crazy. I think that
Really?
video has the most likes and views that I've ever seen.
Wow.
Um,
Cool. Well,
but
that's engagement. Even bad
I'm getting
engagement still
trashed in the
engagement,
comments, bro. I'm getting
right?
trashed in the comments. It's like,
Oh, so
what?
you were dissing Samsung a bit. Well, that's gonna
Yeah.
happen, my friend. You know that. So you kind of brought that on
It's
yourself.
like, well,
But yeah,
hey, listen,
but hey,
it's
you're
my
entitled to your
opinion. You know
opinion.
what I
You're
mean?
yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
I listen. I respect everybody's opinion. I listen to everybody. I just don't. It's not for me. You
Right.
know.
Well, I'll say this to your
Um.
point. So I think up until now, possibly, we'll see what the
Mhm.
test comes in. And the proof's always
Yeah.
in the pudding when it's eaten, right? Camera test, battery test, all this AI, all the stuff that they're touting with these 4 new phones, right?
Yep. Yep.
Up until now, I don't think it's been wrong to say, and I'm going to say it anyway, that Samsung has had the better hardware. Now I know
Mhm.
Samsung software is not everyone's cup of tea. I don't even use
Right.
Bixby, and I've had this phone for 2.25 years, right? My S22 Ultra. I don't use
Mhm.
the S Pen every day. I've never used wireless DeX on this phone. I use it on the tablet that I'm transmitting with you on here right now a lot, but I don't
Right.
use all those features. But So what Samsung does is they throw the kitchen sink at you in terms of features. You can shut some or all of it off if you choose to, right?
Mm-hmm.
But to your point, what that can do is muck up the works. And back in the day of what do they call it, touch whiz and experience, you had lag, the dreaded lag because of it. And maybe the chips were older. Again, it's hard to compare the past with the present, right? But
Right.
RAM was maybe lacking, whatever. But the software itself was slowing the phone down. Now they've got it to a point and things like ROM swapping helps with this and other things that when they have enough RAM and they've gotten the software much better so that it's much better now under one UI where it's incredibly
Yeah.
smooth, probably about as smooth as any pixel, maybe even a little faster.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get into that because the chips have been up until now or next year at latest at worst a little bit better, right?
Right.
So I think that's a distinction. Not everyone's a Samsung person, but then the Samsung people will tell you, I would never want a Pixel because something's always been lacking with their hardware, whatever it is, whether it's the chip,
Yep.
the
Yep.
cameras, the RAM, or
Yep.
they just feel they want those extra software features that you don't get in stock, so-called stock Android.
Right.
So
Right.
there's the case on the other side, but yeah.
Right. Um. Now you watch the event and stuff. What do you think of the devices themselves? Um. That came out. What do you think of that new Fold?
I think it's amazing, honestly. I'm not just again not really trying to chill or super fanboy fanatic, but I think they're in the
Mm-hmm.
right direction. So the bezels are still, when I can tell, a little bit bigger than the Samsung Z Fold 6, but
Yes.
the design is better. I think the cameras look better. Just strictly form factor on the back, the
Right.
design and form factor. I think it's they try to find a middle ground between what they had last year with the full Pixel Fold or Fold One, you might say,
Mm-hmm.
versus what Samsung and OnePlus Open were doing, where it's a little taller. It was the last year's was kind of short and squatty, right? It was a kind of like a passport size, and you just folded it. It was longer out than it was this way, right?
Right.
So what they did now is they made it just a little taller, and so it's a little more like Samsung, but it's still wider on the outside, which is important to a lot of people. Both displays are OLED, and I believe 1080, well, 1080 or more than more than on the inside is 4K or 1440, right? And it's just and it that's a more usable display, even for me, a Samsung lover. That's more usable display. One reason I haven't
Yeah,
bought
for
a
sure.
Z Fold to this point, up till now, putting aside costs and anything else, right? Even
Right.
financing or trade-ins or whatever. I just feel like I don't love the form factor of the Samsung Z Folds, right? So
Yep.
what they've done is try to make it a little taller than last year, make it a little about the same width, and now it opens up to a full 8 inches, which is more than Samsung's. It's more like a perfect square instead of like this weird rectangular thing you have to move on one side or the other, and it's almost like a square. Yeah, the bezel. People nitpick about anything, right? They're gonna say, "Oh, the bezels are still bigger than Samsung," but overall, I think it's a better package. It looks better, and it's thinner. It's thinner than the Samsung, so it's maybe a tiny
Yeah.
bit heavier, but it's about the same thinness, I believe, as the what is it, the 9 Pro
Yep.
XL. So
Yep.
that's pretty impressive, man. Just in 1 year, look how far they've come. I like it. What I'm seeing, what I've seen
Yeah.
so far.
Yeah. Definitely agree. Definitely agree. Uh, Thanks, Hugo. Tech Beauties, it's all good, man. Hugo's one of my best friends. Uh, he comes on every live streams and give me a lot of crap, so I'll accept it. uh, uh, anyway, I was like trying not to laugh my butt off with Hugo's comment, but hey, listen, man. Yeah, I was growing a beard, but it was way too much.
Yeah.
But
Hey,
anyway.
listen, I need to shave it.
Oh man. Yeah, but so new stuff. Interesting as always. Pixel Watch 3, Google confirms unique feature Apple Watch doesn't match. Um what do you think about this new watch and new sizes? I think that um they should have done this since the beginning. I mean, Apple
I would agree.
did it in the beginning. Why didn't why didn't Google,
Yeah,
you know?
that's an interesting debate. And again, you know me, not that I'm purposely, I organically contra trend, not purposely trying to stir pots. I don't love big. I mean, you see my Movado here. I've had it for years, and it's not a big watch. I don't really love
Mhm.
big heavy watches. I see
Yeah.
that. I know there's a place for them. Some people prefer them, especially men. You know, guys. Women tend
Yeah.
not to,
Yeah.
right? Um,
Right.
I think it's cool. I think it's. Yeah, I agree it's overdue, but I would I get would I still consider the smaller one? Maybe if it's that much lighter. Putting aside price, if it's
Mhm.
and now the battery may be bigger in the bigger one. I'm assuming, right?
Right.
And it may have some better features, health, whatever, right? Notification, different notifications and stuff. But you know, if I perceive it to be too heavy and bulky on my wrist, then I'm just probably would maybe go with the regular one. But I get that some people like Samsung had that Ultra that kind of copies a lot, takes a lot of cues from from the what is it called, the Ultra, uh, the Ultra, Apple Ultra Watch, right?
Oh, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, they came out with a month or two ago with their event with the Summer Unpacked, right? 2 weeks ago.
Right.
So I think yeah, Google did, and same with the Pixel Buds, right? They're supposed to be that much better because Samsung came out with new
Right.
buds. So of course they have to come out with new buds. It's just a constant arms race, so to speak, you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's just how that goes. You know, you got to stay competitive, and I think that's really what they're doing with these, especially with the new phones, is trying to not just stay competitive, but rise above, right? Narrow that gap and take it a few steps, take it that much further to really
Right.
try to. What's the ultimate goal if you're Google, if you're Pixel division Google, you want to try to make an aggressive grab, a really strong play at grabbing market share from Samsung and even to some lesser degree Apple, right? That's the only way
Right.
they're going to grow into a major brand, right? That is on everyone's lips and people think about them when they go to a carrier store or they go to Best Buy or they go online and say, I'm thinking I need an upgrade in my phone, or I'm thinking I'm
Mhm.
open to
Mhm.
changing brands or platforms. Sell me, I don't know if you ever saw the movie The Wolf of Wall Street, you know, my finance analogies, but the scene where people in the chat might know too, where Leonardo DiCaprio's character, Jordan Belfort, says, sell me this. He takes a pen out of his pocket and he tells
Mhm.
someone as a test, sell me this pen. You know,
Right.
how would you sell? What are the features and benefits? Sell me this pen.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Google challenges, sell me this phone, sell me on these new phones. Now that
Right.
you've already had the
Right.
consumer side a bit, right? Now you want those pro users, right? The premium users,
Exactly.
whether they're
Exactly.
content creators like you and me as a budding one, or they're gamers, or they're extreme multitaskers, pro users, right? You want that market, and
Right.
these sound like they have the hardware that and the AI features, finally the hardware features that they're up to the task. Now
Yeah.
if they test
Yeah.
properly and that's proven true, now you got to get them in as many hands as possible. I mean, Team Pixel is great because they do that, right, with creators. You want to get them in consumer and prosumer, and you want to get them in pro users' hands in the real world, not just on YouTube, right?
Right. Right.
Sorry if I
Exactly.
ramble a little bit, but yeah, just to get the
No,
whole,
yeah,
you know, but
no.
yeah.
Listen, man. That's why I like to hold these conversations and hear people's opinions on this different stuff. Um Now, what are your thoughts on Google versus Samsung um watches? What would you prefer?
Um, yeah, again, I'm not the, you know, I still like old school watch, but if I do switch to a smartwatch, yeah, honestly, right now it would be a toss up for me. I think the
Mm.
Pixel Watch has some. I think it's a little cheaper. They're a little cheaper, both. Or correct me if I'm wrong, both
Yeah,
of them. Um,
right.
and again, I think that Samsung Watch is a little too much. But I'm hearing,
Yep.
I see some good things. So I'll tell you this much. I mean, if I do switch to Pixel, whether it's the Fold or the Small Pro or whatever, which would probably be the
Hmm.
two that interest me the most out of the series 9 series, then I'd
Yep.
probably be more inclined to get a Pixel Watch than I would a Samsung Watch, right? Because you want it to kind of have that little mini ecosystem benefits, right? If you can get them, right? So we'll see. But I think they're not that they're not, correct me if I'm wrong, they're not that different they're not that dissimilar, right? It just comes down to little differences between the two,
I
I
think
think mainly design and plus design and stuff, right?
see that's it for me right there. I think the design of it. Depending on what watch face you have, um, I mean, I like how this the pixels look. I honestly, um, I would choose that, um, because especially with these watch faces that they have, um, I don't know if you have the notes open like I do, but I'm looking right now and, um, with the black uh watch face, you can't even tell where the screen starts and where it begins unless you're really looking. And I really
Okay.
like that. You know what
That's
I
nice.
mean? Like
Yes, I do.
I really think that's cool. Um, you know, and
So it
I
almost gives
would
it like a
I would have loved to
bezel-less look, or
see. I'm sorry?
it almost gives it like a bezel-less, or it kind of one just blends into the other, so it's not like a big demarcation
Right,
between the bezel and the strap, right? Yeah.
right. Yeah. I would have loved to see Uh, maybe smaller bezels. I mean, I don't know what watch they decided to put on this article here, but um, I'll have links down in the description, guys, for the replay crew and anybody who wants to take a look at what we're looking at. Um, but yeah, I mean, I kind of prefer this. Now,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on the charging mechanism? I really like what Google has done with having the 4 pins, on their chargers. I think that's a really unique thing, and I think, um, I mean, yeah, it's kind of annoying, but at the same time, it keeps everything in place, and I think that, um, all companies should do that from now on. I am against these third-party smartwatches that have these dinky little magnetic.
Yeah.
Dude, I can't even, like,
Almost
I've
like proprietary type. Yeah,
yeah,
that's not ever
yeah,
good, right?
and it's
Yeah.
like and it's like, you're trying to put it on. I'm receiving messages and stuff, and that's probably why my camera's going crazy. Um,
Do not
but
disturb. Do not
yeah, right? Um, but you're trying to put it on the watch, and because they're both magnetic, it's like trying to make that force with you, and I'm like, Jesus, I really wish that is a time when I'm testing these kinds of watches, that's a kind of time that I just want to put it aside and go back to my Apple Watch. I
Sure.
wish all I wish all watches were the same in that aspect. Um,
Well, I think that makes some sense. What you're talking about would be like a universal, like USB-C, or versus
yeah,
like Lightning and USB, what is that? USB, micro USB, or what's the other? USB-A. Like just have USB-C
yeah,
for everything, right? Just have one watch connector for any kind of watch. I mean, we made it. Maybe they'll never get there. Maybe they will. But I see. I totally agree with your point. You know?
right, right.
Yeah,
Um, let's see what else is there. I mean, there's the new design for the camera bump on the Pixels. I don't know
I
how to
like it.
feel about it. I I
I
I
like it
I
better.
feel like I like the camera bar. I do.
Really,
I just don't
the old one.
know. Yeah,
See,
like
I didn't
the
love
old
the
camera.
old one. Again, not to be black to your white, but I didn't like the old one. I didn't
Really?
hate it. I just didn't. I just didn't love it. Yeah.
I mean,
Well, I'm dating myself in this reference. I don't know if you know Star Trek. What was it? Not the original series, the '60s with William Shatner, but the Next Generation in the '80s. I don't know if you remember that.
I don't
So what was
know.
his name? Jordy. Yeah, great actor that played. He was blind and he had this visor around his head.
Mhm. Oh,
LeVar That's what that Pixel thing reminded. Not just me, other people picked up on it too.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
what Pixel was going for, Google was going
yeah,
for with that. And to me, it's not horrible. It's just I like the new ones better, basically. Yeah.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
Plus, it was
I
correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't they kind of easily scratch and stuff because depending, you get cases and protect. You need like a back protector when you put it down, or you know, because it just juts out so much. Whereas the correct me if I'm wrong, the newer ones I think are more. a little more slim, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Exactly. What the heck?
Hmm.
Oh, wow, okay. I'm getting your message on Facebook on my other phone just now.
Oh god, that's fun.
I
Better late than never.
I I love technology.
Right.
Uh, moving on a little bit, um, I do wanna talk about, um, Apple and stuff. What I don't know how much you've seen, from the notes that I sent you,
I went over them.
but it looks like Apple and Google are fighting with AI, and it's just like, what the heck? And we've said this before, and we'll always say it. These companies are going to fight with one another. One's gonna steal one feature, one's gonna steal another feature, and that's just the way it is. Google apparently stole um Apple's AI Thunder, or and this is what exactly the article says. Did Google just steal Apple's AI Thunder, or has Tim Cook got an ace in his back pocket?
Yeah, I read them. Yeah. Well,
I think
I think what the so what I understand, and correct me if I or anyone you or anyone in the chat if I'm have so what I understand having skimmed those articles, it's very interesting. This Gemini Advanced sounds fantastic, right? Because it's really
yeah,
you can like literally repair. It'll help you walk you through a repair of like a kitchen faucet while you're doing it, right? But
right.
you got to pay for that. It's free the first year with the new phones, the 9 series, correct?
Yep, yep,
But to get that, it's called Gemini Live feature. You have to pay for feature for pay $20 a month, I believe, for once after the 1 year trial free trial's over. It's at $20 per month for that Gemini Advance, which includes Gemini Live, right? So you got to really want that. I'll take it for free, but I'd like you and a lot of people. I'm guessing $20 a month is a lot of money for something that I don't maybe wouldn't use that much, at least not right now. You know,
right.
Maybe in the future, sure, but I mean, you remember go back to January, for a second,
Mhm.
Taylor, remember didn't correct me, remember Samsung teased the same thing. Oh, next at the end of 2024 or 25, we're
Yeah,
gonna start charging for the Samsung
yeah,
AI features, yeah. Which
yeah.
I don't like that whole concept,
Man,
personally.
anything to get money out of
Oh yeah.
us.
It's all about
It's
especially
it's
monthly recurring it's called recurring revenue stream. It's brilliant when terrible for us, but great for them, right?
right,
Look at Microsoft's model with software. It's all about licensing, right? For what do they call it, 365 or whatever, to get that
right.
package, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and what do they call it, Outlook, email and stuff. You got to pay them
Mhm, mhm.
$100 or whatever per year, every year, if you want to need that software, unless you can get it for you're getting it through a company for free or a business or you get some kind of pirate hack version of it. But otherwise you're paying them every year or every couple of years or whatever to renew it and keep using their and they keep getting ka-chings whether you buy anything you may never buy a Microsoft Surface Pro, for example, from them computer, right? But you're
Right.
going to want that if you're especially in my world in finance, you're going to want that Excel, full Excel, not mobile or desk. You want that full version, with macros and formulas and spreadsheets in general for all that good stuff, charts and graphs and what have you. Um, you don't want a watered down version. You want the real deal. So that's the genius of it, and that's really what they're doing now with AI. I think, and Apple. So Apple's what it's free for now, but you have to have what Pro, the 15 Pro series or higher, right?
Right.
To get intelligence, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, I see that it's freezing every couple of seconds. I don't know why this is happening. I think it's because um I'm just getting notifications from different apps. I've tried to do as much as I can.
There you
See,
are.
it's coming back now. Uh, so yeah,
Hold
just
yourself
just
right
keep
there,
that in
right
mind,
there. Don't
guys.
move.
Seriously.
Just kidding.
Um, if anybody has my second number, if you guys are trying to text me or something, text that number, and not on Facebook, because I think that's also what's happening. I think people are messaging me on Facebook and stuff, and it's screwing with the webcam for whatever reason. Never
Yeah.
happened to me before, but yeah. Uh, I see Michael Pepper in the chat. What's up, man? How you doing? How you doing? Uh,
Oh, that's everybody else.
Apple is more expensive in some cases at the beginning, but the stuff they include for free is worth more sometimes. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, man. Hola, la familia. What's up, Michael? What's up? How you doing, man? Welcome to the chat.
Ole, ole.
I'm sorry.
Ole, ole. Como esta, mi amigos? My horrible
Yeah.
Spanish.
Nice. Um. So yeah, I mean, this Gemini stuff. Okay. So I am going to reveal some secrets from my channel.
Uh-oh.
Uh, most of the time, most of the time, um, hang on, guys. Let me fix my camera. Okay, there we go. Um, most
Anyway.
of the time when I'm doing my videos, I usually get ideas off of Gemini, um, for the description and the title. Um, I think that's why my last we were talking about it. I think my last Samsung video has blown up because of that. I put
Wow.
in yeah. I put in a good title, I put in a good description. I'm not sure so much. I gotta take a drink. I'm not sure so much about the thumbnail. Um, but listen, it's blowing up. Um, a lot of negative comments. A lot of people, because I'm trashing a lot of Samsung stuff. Um, but again, it is my opinion. I'm stating my opinion here.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Your channel, you're entitled to it, man. And if you just, I don't think like you said, you made it very clear. You don't hate Samsung. You're just not, you like stock Pixel type Android better, and that's fine.
right.
You're more than entitled to that. And to some degree, I agree with you. Again, as someone who I like both, and depends on what I'm doing. Um, in fact, I don't know if you heard this. This is one thing somebody teased as a rumor, I guess, that they may eventually, maybe with Android 15 fully implemented, may there may be some type of I don't know if it would only apply to the Pixel Fold or what have you, or maybe
Hmm.
all the Pixel Pros or all the Pixel 9s, or maybe next year with the 10 at worst would be some type of a desktop mode like a Samsung Dex. That would be amazing. We'll
Yeah.
see. But one more thing to look forward to. If they can do it, I think it would be great. Now, I get they want to be careful to not, we always talk about cannibalization, right? They don't want to
Right.
cannibalize Chromebooks, but I don't think they would be necessarily, you know?
Right.
And if I own a Pixel Fold and I don't own a Chromebook, I shouldn't have to feel, or if I even own both, I'm probably going to use them for in different ways. I won't
Right.
necessarily see them as competing with each other. It's
Hmm.
called an ecosystem. They work with each other, right? So
Exactly.
why why
Exactly.
not? Why not have a desktop mode on those beautiful new phones if you can get it? If they can do it.
Yeah. I honestly think that that would be cool even for iPhone.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
Dude, I
Yep.
mean, how
Yeah.
many how many people would actually sell their iPads and MacBooks if you could do that?
Right. Right.
I
But that's always
mean,
the thing with
shit.
Apple. They're parent. I think they're the most, and I think you may agree with this. I think they're the most paranoid when it comes to that thing. That's why no time soon will you see. We talked about this on this and other your stream and others, Pepper and Lewis. You'll
Yep,
never, in no time soon, especially at least under the Tim Cook regime, and maybe even going forward, will you see touchscreen Macs, nor will you see iPads with Mac OS, even like a Mac OS
I
Lite
see.
version, right?
I see patents of it all the time, and I'm just
Mm,
like, man, I really wish this was a thing.
yeah,
So much so that when I was doing um leaks and rumors and stuff like that, I would talk about that kind of thing, and I would
yeah,
talk about certain patents, and people would just be like, "Oh, you're saying that this is coming out, but it never did."
right,
So it's just like, well, listen, this is what I'm hearing. This is new stuff that I want to talk about. Not my fault necessarily if it doesn't come out. I mean,
right,
I'm not
yeah,
working at Apple. I'm not,
right.
some kind of a miracle worker. Uh, so yeah,
And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with dreaming big and thinking big, and then maybe it eventually manifests into reality, right?
right,
But
right.
I mean, Apple's so far behind with that stuff. I mean, no offense or anything, obviously, but they're behind
Yeah,
even with, yeah, they're ahead with things like the Vision Pro and other
mhm,
thing we'll get into if you want. You sent me about the
yeah,
robot thing, but they're behind with flippables and foldables, right?
right,
And they're
right.
behind with a desktop mode, and they're behind with any kind of a pencil or stylus, even on their pro model phones. So that's a choice because
Yep.
obviously and it's not that they're not capable of it, right? We know they're capable of it.
No.
They're capable of all
Yeah,
the stuff we're talking about and more. It's
for
not never
sure.
a question with these big companies as to money or brain power, right? It's a question of budgeting and do they feel it's worth it or not? And based on the marketing they do, research, focus groups, up to now they've said probably no, right?
Right,
Because
right.
most iPhone users probably don't. You don't miss what you never had, right? So if you've
Exactly.
been on iPhone the whole time, you don't know about Dex, you don't know about an S Pen or something like that, right?
That right
Exactly.
there, ladies and
Absolutely.
gentlemen,
Yep.
you gotta take everything you hear and
Right.
see on the internet with a grain of salt. You
And especially
never
social media,
know.
Twitter and all the rest. Yeah.
Yeah, I
How
listen,
about how about
man.
a how about a pound of salt while we're at
Right? I'm
Yeah.
telling you, man, it's crazy. It's
Yeah.
crazy. Um, so new iPhone 16s next month, hopefully.
Right.
What are your thoughts? What can Apple learn and do, um, from Samsung and this whole AI thing? What would you like to see from that? I mean, I don't know if you follow it or watch the events or anything, but
Yeah, I haven't heard a whole lot. I know the design is gonna be mostly so it comes down to what the chip is gonna be,
Mhm.
what are they up to, A17 or 18 Bionic? I can barely keep track of it. And then,
Right.
some camera improvements, obviously, they always have especially on the Pro series, that's like a given, right? And maybe how AI what they can integrate with the cameras. I think that would be maybe something because that's kind of what Samsung's done a bit on the S24 series, and Google's promising a lot of new features on these Series 9 phones, right? Especially the Pro
Mhm.
models. So,
So
I
Michael
don't
is
know.
saying I don't agree that Apple is behind, but they have their markets and know that a device can't be all things, but it can do what it's supposed to do well.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
that's fine. Yeah,
Absolutely.
I don't disagree with that. So both can be true.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we can break it down to like two different audiences, right? We have us in the so-called tech community, geekerotery, nerd community, whatever you want to call it, right? So
Right.
we have different expectations and different desires, right?
Right.
The average, quote unquote, average everyday consumer don't look at it that way.
Mhm.
This is where
Mhm.
Apple gets it really right, to Michael's point, right? And I know
Yeah.
Lewis and I have had these conversations where what's the thing? It's not their official marketing, but their mantra, it just works. They just want something reliable that works and it's easy to use. And whether you're a child, a senior, something in between, working mom
Mhm.
or dad, whatever running a business, small business, you just need it to work. You may
Right.
don't need all those extra bells and whistles that Samsung is
Right.
provide. You maybe don't need all the extra AI that Google provides. You just want it simple. Where Pixel, to your point, does get it right, especially with these
Mhm.
new ones, is they can
Oh,
appeal to
yeah,
both.
dude.
They're
Dude.
targeting clearly the going for the pro user more than
I
ever, right? But
Yeah.
they're still making the A series, right, for
Mhm.
budget and mid range, and they have 5 phones now when you think about it, right?
Yeah.
And they're making and they have the regular 9 for those on a budget who just want the basics, just wanna get stuff done. And
Right.
the if you were to switch between and I'll even add one thing if you don't mind. If I
Sure.
were working on a phone, if what I recommend to people, the few people who ask me who are Apple users considering Android, I'll always tell them Pixel is the easiest way to go because you're gonna get those updates you're used to getting instantly with Pixel, right? Whether it's an OS update or security patch, you don't have that delay what Samsung has, and you're just gonna get it's just the basics, you know? They
Has somebody
maybe
been
don't want
watching my videos?
yeah.
Because I say
Well,
the exact same
yeah.
thing. I
Well,
say the
also
exact same thing.
they don't want the B word, the dreaded that's still a thing with Samsung with carriers, bloatware, right? So you
Mhm,
don't get all that stuff.
mhm, mhm.
And vice versa. If you're a Pixel person who's just tired of Android, you're probably going to go to Apple as opposed to Samsung because
Exactly,
you want
exactly.
less complication, not more in that case, right? So, yeah, it's
Hey,
interesting though.
hey, babe, I did just have this in front of me. I don't know if you can see it, but thank you for worrying. I did send you a message. I don't know if you got it. Just reply back when you have a minute, telling me that you got it. Um, so sorry, I had to get that out of the way. Um, TechFeed says Apple is never late. They drop features when they're ready for consumers. Exactly. Uh,
I might push back on that somewhat, but that's fine. Fair enough. With
yeah,
fair enough.
I mean, listen, they're working on these things, and you know what? Like to an extent, I say this, they drop things when it's perfect. It's never gonna be perfect. It's always gonna have some kind of bug or whatever. People are always complaining about software updates and stuff like that. I had a friend that said, "Oh my god, Apple releases an update like every other week or something." And I'm just like, "Well, goddamn, I wish Android would do that because
Right.
yes, these are little updates that are making things better for the user. You know what I mean? Maybe it's not affecting you, but
Right.
it's affecting somebody. And like I said before, you don't necessarily have to update, but it's recommended for safety and privacy issues because yeah, Apple's all about privacy and stuff. But how much of that do you believe actually? You
Right.
know what
So
I
they
mean?
say.
It's not, you know?
Yeah, I agree. Well,
So
the point I was just trying to make a couple minutes ago to kind of Michael's point and Lewis is just that I find it just a little bit ironic that they poured all these tens or hundreds of millions or whatever it costs them. It doesn't matter, I guess, with Apple, right? They're loaded into
right.
the Vision Pro, AR, VR, uh,
No,
AR, VR, Vision Pro, and it's a beautiful look into the future. Don't get me wrong, but
oh
I
yeah,
think already how I feel about it. I just think
right.
it's not for the average person, not at $3,500 plus tax and Apple Care.
No,
And unless you
no.
have a need for it, gaming or a developer, most people just have no interest in it. But maybe in 5 or 10 or 20 years, that'll be a whole different story. But they do all that, but then they still don't have a foldable phone or flippable phone or an S Pen type, pencil on the phone, on the Pro phone, whatever, and that's fine. They've obviously made those decisions for certain. So with Apple Intelligence, they're doing it a little bit differently, as they do a lot of things differently, and that's a good thing, maybe in some ways, right? Than Gemini and than say Gemini and Samsung, right?
Right, right.
So
Let's see what Michael is saying. Watch my video about Apple Intelligence if you want a little Apple history and AI and how they've been doing it for decades. Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, absolutely they
yeah,
have.
yeah,
Absolutely, they have. Like I said, we see things that you know we've been seeing things that have been on iOS for years that we don't really recognize unless they say, "Hey, this is on it. This is on iOS. This is on Android." You know,
right,
um, but yeah, AI has always been a thing. AI has, uh, I honestly believe that it's always been on every phone since the beginning.
Right.
Um, with every little update, there's something different.
Yes.
Um, I wish that. Okay, well, let me ask you this: what do you think about virtual assistants? Um, Siri, Google, all that. As I just provoked mine to go off.
Oh.
I,
Fun.
I'm trying not to, guys. I'm trying not to. I
No,
forget now
no,
that
it happens.
now you're even more screwed because Apple just fixed it to say the word or
Oh,
hey
good.
in the word,
Oh
and it's
no.
just like, bruh. So
Yeah.
you can't even talk about her without her going off.
Right. And same with people with Alexa or whatever. Whatever. Yeah. Google, all of it. Yeah. I mean, to your point, I mean, look, I'm not, again, call me a little slow on the curve or old guy, OG old guy, whatever, old Joe gangster. I'm not, honestly, I just haven't been, not that I never use it. I'm just not the, I do like Google Voice. I'll say it quietly.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just faster if I'm in bed. I don't want to type or whatever. It's too whatever,
Mhm.
or I'm
Mhm.
busy.
Mhm.
It can come in handy, but in general, I don't really rely on personal assistants. Now I can see where the AI tied into that can add a lot of value, right?
Oh, for sure.
For
For
all
sure.
in all different arenas, right? Whether you're a student or you're trying to fix something, like we said, home repair a little bit earlier, or whatever it is, But um, yeah, I don't use it that often, but it's
Right.
nice to know it. What's the Flossie Carter thing? It's nice to know it's good, better to have it and not need it than need it and not have
Exactly.
it, right? So yeah, I
Exactly.
gotta, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, man. It
But
that is
that story is
definitely
only
the
going to get better with AI. So that's kind of
yeah,
the idea, I think, right?
yeah,
If we look at that was like 1.0, AI now is 2.0, whatever,
yeah.
not technically in terms of web, 1, 2, 3, but you know what I mean, just in terms of state baby steps and stages. Because Siri's been
Right.
around for what, like 10 years now, or give or take.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Right, and same with Google, hey, what do they call it? Google Assistant and all of
yeah,
it. So, and yeah, so and then
yeah.
Bixby's been the last few years on Samsung. So,
I'm glad you didn't actually say it because I have her in my office too. Uh, I have it all. I actually
right,
have all the assist. Nah, yeah, I
right.
have all the assistants. I have Google, I have Amazon Echo, and I have Siri.
Oh my
Um,
God, how do you do
yeah,
it?
yeah. Not in this office, but I have it
Okay.
throughout the house. Um,
Wow, wow.
yeah. Upstairs. So here I have the Google Assistant. Upstairs on the second floor, I have the Amazon Echo, and then on the third floor is where I have Siri. So I have it all. Um, I'm
That could either be
surprised.
really, really helpful or really, really annoying. I could see it going either
Yeah,
way.
I wanna plug them in and put them all together and have them all have a conversation with each other.
Yeah, just
That way,
fight. But
that way, bruh.
put
Um,
them in. What do they call that? Put them in the cage. Put them in the cage, a cage match to the death, and let them fight it out.
right. The problem that I see with these assistants, and I had a friend over here yesterday, and he kind of was talking to it, and I'm just like, wow. They can't explain um any kind of event or anything. When you ask for it to go uh uh, look for an event or tell you about an event, it automatically goes to your calendar. So
Yeah,
that word event, it automatically thinks you're talking about the calendar, and it's just like
right.
I really wish that they would fix it so it would know what we were talking about and go online and say, this.
Yeah.
Um,
Don't
because
assume
my
that I'm
friend was
trying to
asking
schedule.
the Google Assistant, and she was like, "There's nothing on the calendar. There's nothing on the
Right.
calendar." Well, thanks, Google. Damn, I thought
Right.
everybody says Google Assistant is helpful. Everybody says that Google
Yeah.
Assistant is better than anything else.
Right. But it shouldn't assume that you're trying to schedule something or look up something already scheduled. You maybe wanna learn about an event coming up in the future, but not necessarily schedule it, right? That's your
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
So, it needs to be a little smarter to get to that point where it can distinguish between the 2, you know? It's getting
That
there, I guess.
video would go viral for sure.
Viral, yeah.
I definitely think
The
so.
cage match, yeah, you like that one, Lewis? Right.
The battle of the assistants.
Yep, 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 totally.
Oh man.
I could see that.
I I honestly I don't know how people do it. Nikias Molina. I don't know if you know Nikias.
I do. Yeah, thanks to you and Lewis. Yeah, I do.
He does videos, and sometimes he does videos where he's fighting with Siri. He's talking about a subject and then she intrudes, and I really wonder how he does that, because honestly, I would love to do something like that for a video.
Mhm.
Uh, I
I like
gotta
it, yeah.
I gotta hit him up one day. I've been trying, man. I feel like the bigger you get, the harder it is to reach people.
Oh, sure.
Before I would talk to Nikias, I would talk to Drew from Telos Tech. I would talk to so many people, and
Right.
now it's like they're so busy with all this stuff, which I understand. But I I really wish that um that there was a better way of communicating with them, because I would love to learn a thing or two, and even get them on podcasts. I had Drew probably 3 years ago by now.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Um and I've been trying to get him on ever since, but going by email and stuff like that. Jacqueline as well. We had her on when we did the
Oh,
Tech and Log podcast.
nothing but tech. Cool.
Yeah, nothing but tech.
Sure.
Um,
Yep.
just these different people, because honestly, the way I see it, everybody was once at the beginning. Everyone was
Yeah,
once a small creator.
absolutely.
Let's just all help each other grow, and whatever. I mean,
Yeah,
and I get it. You're trying to do your own thing. You're busy, doing your own videos and whatnot. You're busy with life. I get it.
right.
But it's just like, damn, these people, like, some people just forget you, I think. I don't know, man. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I try to look at the positive side. I see your point, though, totally. Well, let me
yeah.
ask you something. So you were, I mean, I know you wrote a few months ago. Was the last summer, the last fall, or a few months ago? You were in Portugal, right, for a couple of weeks, I think, or month.
Yeah. I was just there um
The
over
holidays, maybe.
yeah, the holidays. It was
Okay.
right after Christmas. I went for New Year's.
Okay.
Um,
So I know the timing, but I think is it Nikias? Am I pronouncing it right? He's in
yep,
Spain, right? So
yep, yep.
maybe next time you get out there, he comes here, you can find a way to, meet up,
Yeah, I
even if
would
it's
love
for
that.
like a
I
day
would
or
love
so.
that.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that would be sick.
Yeah.
And even my friend Benji from Benobi Tech, he is from England. And whenever I was in
Right.
Portugal, we were in the same time zone,
Right.
which made
Wow.
things it made things so much better, because I could talk to him and not worry about what time it was if he was sleeping, regardless of having notifications shut off or whatever. It's cool. I really wish I knew about more people in my area. I mean, I know
Yeah.
Tech needs, you're an hour away from me. Michael, you're like in a whole nother state, uh, like
Me too. Yeah.
hours away. Um, so yeah, I really would love to get a get together with different creators.
No, that's a great idea.
You know, I,
Dude,
I
next time
see I
you
see
let me
all these
know. Yeah.
videos. I see all these videos, and I'm just like, man, I wish I could do this someday.
No,
Be
collaborative, totally cool.
a part of the bigger. I want to be a part of something big,
Yeah.
and I always said that. Um, and I know that we usually do tech gift guides videos with other creators. We do collaborations and stuff, which is
Yep.
super cool. I can't wait for. That's the only reason I cannot wait for for the winter and for the holidays to come, because I love doing collaborations like that.
Hmm.
I was doing it a lot more before, but now it's just like trying to reach out to people, trying to get them to get me their clips on time. My head can't take it.
Yeah.
I'm
No, but
done.
I love your idea of in person. So like next time you're going to be in New York, let me know, man. I'm like 10 minutes away. I mean, I don't know if you know that seriously. So
I'm sorry.
if next time you're in New York City, Manhattan or whatever, even Brooklyn, or I'm ten
Oh,
minutes, I'm 20 minute, 15-minute train ride from Manhattan from where I am in New
are
Jersey.
you?
I'm right next to I'm right. You can almost, well, you'd have to be a little stronger to throw a rock from my house into the Hudson River, but I'm right there. My town is right on the edge. So
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
let me know, man.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe you didn't know. Okay, now you know. Yeah.
I was actually in New York last month.
Yeah, I
Bro,
think I saw that you were. Yeah, so I should
yeah,
have mentioned it. I should have mentioned it, shouted you out there. But now that
yeah, man.
since we're here together now, I'll just tell you. Yeah, and of course,
I
if I'm
you know
coming to
what's
Boston,
funny?
of course I want to meet you and Lewis and whoever.
Yeah,
So.
you know what's funny about that day, and I was talking to Benji about it. Um, I was in New York and I was scrolling through Twitter, and Jacqueline from Nothing But Tech was recording videos in Central Park that morning, and I think
Wow.
we just missed it because we had just gone a little while after.
Wow.
But that would be so cool if I could run into
Yes.
somebody like that.
Or
Uh,
Michael Fisher or anybody. I know Central
yeah,
Park's really big, but you kind of have I kind of have a layout of what it looks like. Like I kind of know when's a little bit one section from the other, so I can even help you with that probably. But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
but
Mark,
but it's like
have you put on your blue?
blue. I don't get it. Elvis though.
What?
Well, that's a blue suede shoes. I think he's alluding to.
942 miles to Boston for me. 13
There
hours
you
and
go.
17. Ooh, damn. Okay. Okay. Well, Michael, if you're ever in town, let me know. Hit me up, please.
Yeah,
That would be cool. Like I said, I think I see all these creators getting together, and I'm just like, wow, this is awesome. I mean, I wish I lived in a more popular place like that. You
yeah.
know.
And
Um.
especially when the weather's nice. It's tough when it gets
Yeah.
cold. There's winter,
Some. All right. Te- all right, Techie needs. Sit down. Sit down, buddy. We all know you met him. I was close to meeting him the same day you did. Very close. I think I missed you guys by like half an hour.
Wow.
Yeah, I was in Boston that day, and
Oh wow.
Techie Needs was texting me. I was at an appointment. And I'm like, "Oh, I'm on my way. I'm on my way." And then he was like, "Oh, it's over here. Everybody's gone." And I'm just like, "Ouch." I'm like, "Man, this Boston traffic. I hate it."
Oh, it's the worst. Yeah. Yeah, New York traffic, New York, Boston, Chicago,
Oh,
like the
dude, New
traffic.
York.
You know,
Oh my God,
even
it's
I don't know if you know this, Washington D.C. Same thing, the Beltway. It's
oh
just
yeah, yeah, yeah.
horrible, horrible traffic. Yeah,
It's all I would listen. Kudos to you. I could never live in a big city. Never.
yeah.
Like,
Well, I'm right
especially at
near it
night.
at night.
How the hell do you sleep at night?
Not
just
easy.
hearing all
Well,
the just hearing all the buses and horns and whatever. It's like,
well, I live in
damn.
a small town, but to your point, yeah, you get sirens, you get occasionally sirens, ambulances, fire. Yeah, sure, it happens. I mean, you kind of get used to it a little bit. I do keep the windows open most of the time, at least a crack, because trying to get rid of this bad habit. But
Yeah.
I think you know about. But I would probably anyway, just for fresh air. But you
Right.
can't help some of it. But it could be worse. Yeah, to
Oh
your
yeah,
point, I
for
could never
sure.
live in Manhattan. I thought about it in my 20s or 30s, and I was like, I don't know, man. It's not just the cost, but like you say, you're never
Oh,
really
dude,
at
it's everything.
peace. If you live
It's
in Manhattan,
everything.
you never really have a time to breathe. It's like we're at peace. Maybe some neighborhoods like Gramercy Park or Greenwich
Yeah.
Village, or like
Yeah.
you say, Central Park have their quiet places,
Yeah.
but you always have to kind of be on your alert.
Right.
Not in a bad way, but just anything. You get run
Oh
over by
yeah,
a
for sure.
bus or fall into a subway grate or whatever. So you just
Right.
have to be alert, pickpockets, whatever. So, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, hey guys, I really appreciate you guys coming through. Shark, I really appreciate you. I know
Oh,
this was like last minute. I was like, You know what? We
No,
were talking this morning, and I'm like, you know what? He would be perfect.
thank you. Thanks as
So
always for having me, and always been a
yeah,
pleasure.
thank you, man. I really, really appreciate it. Um, so yeah, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this week's live stream and podcast. Um, I was gonna split the two, but now that we did it this way, we're just gonna keep it this way. So yeah, you guys will probably see a couple of different videos and stuff being posted from this live stream. So be aware of that. Until next week, we'll talk to you guys in the next one. Have a great night, guys.
Peace out, everyone.